Welcome to our deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at this 2024 Nostradamus Report.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Paradox of Hope. Have you had a chance to look at this at all?
I have, yeah. It's really fascinating.
It is. It's so interesting how they kind of lay out the future of the film and TV industry for like the next few years.
Yeah, and it really is like in depth. Like they talk to so many people
Oh, no, a ton of experts.
and they have all this data.
Yeah, forecasts and stuff looking 3 to 5 years ahead. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
And, the title Paradox of Hope, that's what really drew me in because, they acknowledge that the film and TV industries are like facing this major crisis.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But then at the same time, they suggest there's all this hope and maybe even like relief.
Yeah,
It's a strange combination, isn't it?
it is. What I find really interesting is that they don't just like present that paradox, they actually unpack it.
Yeah?
We're seeing these job losses.
Oh, yeah.
Production companies are shutting down.
That's rough out there.
It is. And, that independent film model is struggling to even survive.
Right.
But then there's this sense of like opportunity.
Yeah.
Like we could hit the reset button and rebuild.
Okay, so let's break this down. The report talks about this massive increase in the number of films that are being released theatrically.
Right.
I mean, it's gone from 4,500 films back in 2003 to over 9,000 just last year.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy. And the number of movie screens hasn't really increased all that much.
Yeah. So it's no wonder that it feels like there's a new movie coming out every other day.
Seriously. It's hard to keep up. Have you felt that at all?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like we are drowning in content.
Right.
And the report actually makes this point that all this overproduction, it's having real consequences.
Yeah.
Like, for example, they talk about this French study
Oh, okay.
that found that a third of the films that were funded by the CNC, that's their National Film Fund. It's kind of similar to like the National Endowment for the Arts here in the U.S.
Okay.
And a third of those films had less than 20,000 admissions in theaters.
Wow, that's pretty dismal.
Yeah.
Like, even the films that are getting funding are having a hard time finding an audience.
Yeah,
That's a pretty clear sign that something needs to change.
for sure.
And of course, we can't ignore the impact of streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Remember a couple years ago when it felt like every major company was launching its own streaming service and just throwing tons of money at content?
Oh, yeah, the so-called streaming wars.
Totally. It was crazy. And a lot of people said it couldn't last.
They were right.
Yeah, it seems like they were right.
Yeah,
Because now we're seeing this market correction. Like the industry's kind of coming back down to earth a bit.
exactly. The report calls it a return to reality.
I like that.
Like it's a moment of truth where we're kind of forced to confront the challenges
Yeah.
and find solutions that are actually sustainable.
So where's the hope in all of this?
Well, they point to a few things. One is that this market correction, as painful as it is in the short term, could actually be a good thing in the long run.
Okay.
It's forcing the industry to really reevaluate priorities
Yeah, no.
and focus on what actually matters.
And what's that?
Things like quality storytelling
Right.
and engaging with audiences in a genuine way.
And they really stress this concept of engagement theatrical, right?
Yes.
Which is essentially this idea that films and their marketing, even the theatrical experience itself, needs to be designed to be more engaging. So audiences will actually choose to go to the cinema over staying home and streaming something.
Yeah. It's about recognizing that audiences have more choices than ever before.
Right.
And they're not going to just settle for a mediocre experience.
Yeah, they want something special.
They do.
Yeah.
They want something that makes them feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's not just about making a good film. It's about creating an event,
Mm-hmm.
building a relationship with the audience.
Exactly.
Like for you personally, what would make you choose to go to the cinema?
That is a great question. It's a question that the industry needs to be asking itself.
Yeah.
Like, what motivates audiences? What makes them tick?
And then create experiences that cater to those desires.
Exactly.
And the report does highlight some success stories. I mean, Barbie and Oppenheimer were huge this year.
Oh, yeah. Massive.
But it's not just about these big blockbusters.
Right. There are smaller films that have managed to break through,
Yeah.
connect with audiences. And the interesting thing is that a lot of these films share a common thread,
What's that?
a strong authorial voice.
So even in this sea of content, audiences are still drawn to filmmakers who have a unique perspective, a distinct style.
Absolutely. And the report even suggests that these traditional categories of art house and mainstream, they're becoming less relevant,
Interesting.
especially to younger audiences who are growing up with access to such a diverse range of content.
Right.
They're less concerned with labels and more interested in the story itself.
The characters, the emotional impact.
Exactly.
I like that. It's about the substance, not the packaging.
Yeah.
And they share this great story about the film Girl Picture.
I love that film.
Me too. It's a Finnish coming-of-age story about 3 young women
Yeah.
who are kind of exploring their sexuality. And they screened it for a group of high school students.
Wow.
And
Girl.
some of the tough guy types were kind of resistant to the idea at first.
Yeah.
But afterwards, they admitted that it actually changed their perspective.
I love that.
It's pretty powerful, right?
It's a powerful example of how film can really transcend preconceptions and connect with people on a human level.
Totally, regardless of their background or expectations.
Exactly.
And it shows how films that might initially seem niche can actually find a much wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
They also talk about Ibelin.
Yes.
Have you seen that one?
I have.
That's an award-winning documentary about this young man
Yeah.
and his life in this online gaming world.
It's World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
It's fascinating.
It is, and it explores these universal themes of loss and family through this very specific lens. So it could appeal to a core audience of gamers,
Yeah.
but also a wider audience who might not be familiar with that world but can still relate to the human story.
Absolutely.
So it seems like the challenge for filmmakers is to find those universal truths, those stories that can resonate with a broad audience, even if they're told through a very specific lens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the report actually argues that this is where the independent film world really needs to evolve,
Okay.
because the traditional model of making and distributing independent films, it's just not sustainable anymore.
So what's the alternative?
Collaboration.
Okay.
The report really emphasizes this. Producers, distributors, exhibitors, they need to work together more closely,
Okay.
share resources, and find creative solutions.
It's like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Yeah.
If you want to go far, go together.
That's a good one. I like that.
Right.
And the report highlights some interesting ideas for how this could actually work in practice.
Okay.
Like, for example, Ted Hope.
I know Ted Hope.
Yeah, he's produced a ton of successful independent films.
He has.
And he suggests that a portion of production funds should actually be reallocated
Okay.
towards marketing and what he calls ecosystem building.
Interesting. So instead of just focusing on making the film, you're also investing in building a community around it,
Yes.
creating buzz and ensuring that it actually reaches an audience.
Exactly.
And this has to be a collaborative effort.
It does. It can't just be the filmmaker's responsibility.
It's a shared responsibility across the whole industry.
Yeah.
They also talk about Europa Cinemas.
Yes.
That's a network of independent cinemas across Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing some really cool work in this area. They're connecting exhibitors, sharing best practices,
Yeah.
and providing training to help cinemas adapt to these new realities.
They get it. They understand that collaboration is essential.
For survival.
Yeah, and they're taking concrete steps to make it happen.
Okay, so now let's talk about the big one. Artificial intelligence.
The elephant in the room.
Right. It feels like AI is everywhere these days.
It does.
And the film industry is certainly no exception.
No, they're not shying away from it at all in this report.
Okay.
They acknowledge that it has the potential to transform filmmaking.
In both positive and negative ways.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's unpack that. On the one hand, AI is already being used to make certain aspects of filmmaking more efficient.
Right.
But then there are those concerns about job displacement, ethical considerations, the potential for it to be used in ways that are harmful or biased.
All valid concerns.
It is complex.
It is.
And they really stress the importance of being proactive.
Of claiming a voice.
Yeah, I love that idea. Claiming a voice, like not just sitting back and letting things happen to you.
It's about taking ownership of the future.
Exactly. And that applies to all aspects of filmmaking, right?
It does. Production, distribution, exhibition.
We need to be thinking creatively about how to reach audiences, how to build those relationships, and create value in a market that's more competitive than ever.
For sure. And the report specifically mentions the work that Europa Cinemas is doing. You know, they're encouraging theaters to become more than just places to watch movies.
Right. Create those unique experiences that you can't get at home.
Exactly.
Like theme screenings, special events, interactive discussions.
Things that make going to the cinema an event, a social gathering.
Totally. And they're also encouraging cinemas to embrace technology in ways that enhance the experience.
Yeah.
So things like improving the sound systems, the projection systems, more comfortable seating, maybe even integrating VR or AR elements into the screenings.
Oh, wow.
Right? Like, imagine putting on a VR headset and being transported right into the world of the film.
That would be incredible.
It's an area with a lot of potential, but the key is that technology should always serve the art.
Absolutely. Not overshadow it.
It's about using it thoughtfully and intentionally to create a deeper connection between the film and the audience.
Yeah, and the Imagine Pro white paper that we talked about earlier,
Oh, right.
that also talks about the importance of creating a user experience that is seamless and intuitive.
Especially in the streaming world.
Yes, exactly.
They emphasize things like easy navigation, personalized recommendations, and a variety of monetization models to give viewers choices.
It's about making it easy for audiences to find what they want without having to jump through hoops.
And it's about respecting their time and attention.
For sure. Nobody wants to be bombarded with ads that are irrelevant.
Right, or forced to watch content that they're not enjoying.
Exactly.
And Passion Flix, the
Yeah.
streaming service dedicated to romance movies, they're doing a great job in this area.
Yeah, their platform is powered by Imagine Pro.
It is.
And it's designed to be really user-friendly.
And they're constantly gathering feedback.
To improve the experience.
And they're a great example of how focusing on a specific niche audience and really catering to their passions can be really successful.
Yeah, they've built this thriving community around their brand.
It really shows.
It shows that even in this world of seemingly endless choice, specialization can be a really powerful strategy.
It's a strategy that can be applied to all sorts of areas in the film industry, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Streaming services, film festivals, distribution models, the whole ecosystem.
It's about identifying those passionate communities that are hungry for specific types of stories and unique cinematic voices.
And recognizing that even in a digital age, that human element remains so essential.
Yeah, think about the power of a film festival.
Oh yeah.
Gathering together in a darkened theater to experience a film collectively.
It's magical.
It is those shared moments of laughter, surprise, or even just relief. Those are the things that remind us why we love cinema.
I agree.
The Göteborg Film Festival is a great example of this.
It is.
Bringing together filmmakers and audiences from all over the world to celebrate the art of storytelling.
Connecting with each other.
Discovering new cinematic experiences.
And it's that spirit of collaboration, that shared passion, that makes me feel really optimistic about the future of film.
I feel that too.
Exciting.
But getting back to the listener,
Okay.
what can we as individuals actually do to make a difference?
Well, a few things come to mind. One is to just be more mindful of how you consume film and television.
Okay.
Are you supporting the kind of content that you actually want to see more of?
That's a good point.
Are you engaging in conversations about the issues that matter to you?
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
We vote with our dollars and our attention.
We do. So we need to be conscious of the choices that we're making.
I agree.
And what else?
Another thing you can do is actually seek out and support independent filmmakers and cinemas.
Okay.
Attend film festivals.
Yeah.
Spread the word about films that you love. And you can even donate to organizations that are working to nurture emerging talent.
All great ideas.
Yeah.
What about this whole AI thing, though? It
Yeah.
feels like that's a force that's bigger than any one individual.
It is a powerful force, but that doesn't mean that we're powerless.
Okay.
We can educate ourselves about the potential implications of AI.
Okay.
We can engage in discussions about ethical considerations, and we can support organizations that are advocating for responsible development and implementation. It's about making sure that AI is used as a tool to enhance human creativity,
Exactly.
not to replace it.
And that brings us back to kind of a fundamental question.
Yeah.
What is the essence of filmmaking?
Yeah.
What makes a film truly resonate with an audience?
I think it's that ability to transport us, to make us feel something deeply,
Yeah.
connect us with characters and stories that reflect our own experiences, hopes, and fears.
It's about empathy,
It is.
about understanding the human condition, about exploring the complexities of our emotions and relationships.
And that's something that no algorithm, no matter how sophisticated, can truly replicate.
Right, the Imagine Pro white paper actually touches on this.
He does.
They say that the most successful streaming services will be those that prioritize the human experience.
Exactly. The ones that really understand the importance of connection and community.
And they highlight the rise of these hybrid monetization models.
Yes.
That combine subscriptions with options like rentals bundles, even freemium tiers.
It's about offering choice and flexibility.
Allowing people to engage with content in a way that actually suits their needs and their preferences.
And creating that sense of community.
Right.
A shared experience that goes beyond just passively consuming content.
Passionflix is another great example of this.
Yes.
They've cultivated this really thriving community around their romance-focused streaming service.
It's a reminder that in a world of seemingly endless choice, specialization can be a powerful strategy.
Absolutely.
And it's a strategy that can be applied not just to streaming services, but to film festivals, distribution models, the entire filmmaking ecosystem.
The whole thing.
It's about recognizing that even in a digital age, that human element remains essential.
I think about the power of a film festival.
Me too.
You know, gathering together in a darkened theater to experience a film collectively.
Those shared moments of laughter.
Gasps of surprise.
Those sighs of relief.
Yeah, those are the things that really remind us why we love cinema.
The Göteborg Film Festival is a testament to that.
It is.
You know, it's a place where filmmakers and audiences from all over the world come together to celebrate the art of storytelling, connect with each other, discover new cinematic experiences.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is, and it's that spirit of collaboration, that shared passion, that gives me so much hope for the future of film.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's not just about the technology, the business models, or the trends.
It's about the stories we tell and the connections we forge through those stories.
It's about the human heart beating at the center of it all.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Well, this has been a really fascinating conversation so far.
It has.
But we're actually just getting started.
Yes, we are.
So be sure to join us for part 2 of our deep dive into the 2024 Nostradamus Report, Paradox of Hope.
We'll be back?
We will. Okay, so we've been talking about these big ideas.
Yeah.
You know, ecosystem building, engagement theatrical,
Mm-hmm.
and they sound great in theory,
Right.
but I'm kind of wondering, you know, how these ideas actually translate into, like, practical steps. For filmmakers, for studios, even for, like, everyday moviegoers like ourselves.
It's a great point. It can feel a bit abstract, can it?
It can.
But the report does offer some concrete suggestions.
Oh, good.
One of the big takeaways is this need for upskilling and continuous learning.
Yeah.
And this applies to everyone in the industry.
Okay.
From like established directors to people just starting out.
So it's not just about, like, learning the latest software or camera techniques.
No. It's about understanding how the industry itself is changing.
Right.
The new business models, the evolving technology, and really understanding what audiences are actually looking for these days.
So being adaptable.
Yes.
And willing to kind of step outside your comfort zone.
That's key.
Which makes sense because the industry has always been about embracing new ideas and pushing creative boundaries.
Absolutely. And the report also talks about this need to claim a voice
Yeah, we talked about that.
in shaping how AI is used in the film industry.
Yes.
So
Great.
it means being proactive,
Yeah.
participating in those conversations about ethical considerations,
Mm-hmm.
and advocating for responsible implementation of these tools.
It's about taking ownership of the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not just sitting back and letting things happen.
And this applies to all aspects of filmmaking, right?
It does. Production, distribution, exhibition.
Okay.
We need to think creatively about how we're reaching audiences,
Yeah.
building relationships, creating value in this market that's more competitive than ever.
The report mentions specifically the work that Europa Cinemas is doing.
Oh,
that
yeah.
network of independent cinemas.
Across Europe.
Yeah. And they're encouraging theaters to become more than just places to watch movies.
Exactly.
Create those unique experiences that you can't replicate at home.
Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Themed screenings for active discussions.
Vegan an event.
Yeah. A social gathering.
And they're also encouraging cinemas to embrace technology in ways that enhance the experience. So things like upgrading the sound systems,
Yeah.
the projection systems, more comfortable seating, maybe even incorporating like virtual reality or augmented reality elements into the screenings.
Wow.
That would be cool.
That'd be amazing.
Right. Like, think about it. You put on a VR headset and you're transported into the world of the film.
So cool.
That's an area with a lot of potential.
For sure.
But the important thing is that the technology should always serve the art.
Yes. It shouldn't overshadow it.
It's about using it thoughtfully and intentionally to create a deeper connection between the film and the audience.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And the Imagine Pro white paper.
Oh, yeah.
We discussed that earlier. That also talks about this importance of creating a seamless and intuitive user experience.
Especially in the streaming world.
Yes. Particularly in that realm.
They emphasize things like easy navigation, personalized recommendations, a variety of monetization models to give viewers choices.
It's about making it easy for people to find what they're looking for.
Yeah. without having to jump through hoops.
Exactly.
And it's about respecting their time and attention. No one wants to be bombarded with irrelevant ads
Right.
or forced to watch content that they're not enjoying.
Absolutely.
You know, Passion Flicks,
Yeah.
that streaming service dedicated to romance movies.
I've heard of them.
They're doing a great job in this area. Their platform's powered by Imagine Pro.
It is.
It's designed to be really user-friendly.
That's great.
And they're constantly gathering feedback to improve the experience.
I'd like to hear. They're really listening to their users.
And they're a great example of how focusing on a specific niche audience and really catering to their passions can be so successful.
They've built a thriving community around their brand.
They have. And it shows that even in a world of seemingly endless choice, specialization can be a really powerful strategy.
For sure.
It's a strategy that can be applied to all sorts of areas in the film industry.
Yeah.
Streaming services, film festivals, distribution models, you know, the whole ecosystem.
It's about identifying those passionate communities
Yeah.
that are hungry for specific types of stories and unique cinematic voices.
And recognizing that even in a digital age, that human element remains so important.
Yes.
I mean, think about the power of a film festival.
I know.
Gathering together in a darkened theater to experience a film collectively.
Oh, those shared moments
Yeah.
of laughter.
The gasps of surprise.
The sighs of relief.
It's magical.
It is.
Yeah.
It really reminds us why we love cinema.
The Göteborg Film Festival is a great example of this.
It is a wonderful festival.
Bringing together filmmakers and audiences from all over the world to celebrate the art of storytelling.
Connecting with each other.
Discovering new cinematic experiences.
It's a beautiful thing.
And it's that spirit of collaboration, of shared passion that gives me hope for the future of film.
I feel that too. It's exciting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. But getting back to the listener,
Okay.
what can we as individuals actually do to make a difference?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is. It's a big one.
It is. Well, a few things come to mind. One is to be more mindful of how you consume film and television.
Okay, so think about it.
Are you supporting the kind of content you want to see more of?
Yeah.
Are you engaging in conversations about the issues that matter to you?
We vote with our dollars and our attention.
We do.
Yeah.
So be conscious of the choices you're making.
Absolutely.
Another thing you can do is seek out and support independent filmmakers and cinemas.
Okay.
Go to film festivals. Spread the word about films you love.
Yeah.
Donate to organizations that are working to nurture emerging talent.
Those are all great ideas. What about this whole AI thing, though?
Right.
It feels like that's a force that's bigger than any one individual.
It is a powerful force, but that doesn't mean we're powerless.
Okay.
We can educate ourselves about the potential implications of AI,
Okay.
engage in discussions about the ethical considerations, and support organizations that are advocating for responsible development and implementation.
So it's about making sure that AI is used as a tool to enhance human creativity.
Exactly. Not replace it.
And that brings us back to this kind of fundamental question. What is the essence of filmmaking?
Good question.
What makes a film truly resonate with an audience?
I think it's the ability to transport us, to make us feel something deeply.
To connect us with characters and stories that reflect our own experiences, our hopes, our fears.
It's about empathy.
About understanding the human condition.
Yeah.
About exploring those complexities of our emotions and our relationships.
And that's something that no algorithm, no matter how sophisticated, can truly replicate.
The Imagine Pro white paper actually touches on this.
It does.
They suggest that the most successful streaming services will be those that prioritize the human experience.
Exactly. The ones that understand the importance of connection and community.
And they highlight the rise of these hybrid monetization models, that combine subscriptions with options like rentals, bundles, even freemium tiers.
It's about offering choice and flexibility.
Yeah.
Allowing people to engage with content in a way that suits their individual needs and preferences.
And creating that sense of community, that shared experience that goes beyond just passively consuming content.
Passion Flicks is another great example of this.
It is.
They've cultivated a thriving community around their romance-focused streaming service.
It's a reminder that in a world of seemingly endless choice, specialization can be a powerful strategy.
Absolutely.
And a strategy that can be applied not just to streaming services, but to film festivals, distribution models, the entire filmmaking ecosystem.
The whole shebang.
It's about recognizing that even in a digital age, the human element remains so essential.
I think about the power of a film festival.
Yeah, me too.
Gathering together in a darkened theater to experience a film collectively.
Those shared moments.
The laughter.
The gasps. The sighs of relief.
It's those moments that remind us why we love cinema. The Göteborg Film Festival is a testament to that power.
It is.
You know, it brings together filmmakers and audiences from all over the world to celebrate the art of storytelling, to connect with each other.
And to discover new cinematic experiences.
It's a wonderful thing to see.
It is. It really is. And it's that spirit of collaboration,
Yeah.
that shared passion that gives me hope for the future of film.
Because ultimately, it's not just about the technology, the business models, or the trends.
It's about the stories we tell.
Yes.
And the connections that we forge through those stories.
It's about the human heart beating at the center of it all.
Beautifully said. You know, we've talked about some really inspiring examples of films connecting with audiences in kind of unexpected ways.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to get your thoughts on like how filmmakers can actually achieve that, especially with so much competition for attention these days.
Well, I think it starts with understanding that audiences are really hungry for authenticity.
Okay.
They want stories that feel real and relatable.
Even if they're set in like these fantastical worlds.
Yeah.
Or explore unconventional themes.
Exactly.
So it's about tapping into those universal truths, those shared human experiences.
Yes.
That transcend cultural boundaries and genre conventions.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's where independent filmmakers actually have an advantage.
Ah, how so?
Well, they're often working outside of the constraints of the studio system,
Okay.
which allows them to take more risks and experiment with different approaches to storytelling.
And the report even suggests that that line between like art house and mainstream is blurring.
Yeah, it's getting fuzzy.
Especially for younger generations who are used to having access to a much wider range of content.
Right, they've grown up with it.
So it's becoming less about labels and more about the story itself.
Yeah.
The emotional impact, the way film makes you feel.
Absolutely.
So how can independent filmmakers leverage that shift?
That's a good question. The report talks about the need for collaboration.
Yes.
You know, finding new ways to reach audiences.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, one example is the work that Europa Cinemas is doing
Yeah.
to support innovative approaches to exhibition. They're encouraging cinemas to become more than just places to watch movies, right? Create those unique experiences that you can't get at home.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah?
Themed screenings,
Special events.
interactive discussions.
Make it an event.
Yeah. A social gathering.
And they're also encouraging cinemas to embrace technology in ways that enhance the experience.
Oh, that's right.
Like upgrading sound and projection systems,
Yeah.
offering more comfortable seating,
Yeah.
maybe even incorporating virtual reality or augmented reality elements into the screenings themselves.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That would be cool.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible and creating a truly immersive experience for the audience.
It's exciting to think about.
It is. And, you know, we've talked a lot about the rise of streaming services
Yes.
and the impact that AI is having on the way content is being created, distributed, and consumed. What are some of the key takeaways from the Imagine Pro white paper
Okay.
in terms of like what makes a streaming service successful these days?
Well, they really emphasize the importance of creating a seamless and intuitive user experience,
Okay.
which includes things like easy navigation, personalized recommendations, and a variety of monetization models
Right.
to give viewers choices.
So it's about making it easy for people to find what they're looking for,
Yeah.
to discover new content they might enjoy, and to engage with the platform in a way that suits their individual needs and preferences.
And it's also about respecting their time and attention.
Right. Nobody wants to be bombarded with ads that are irrelevant.
Yeah. Or forced to watch content they're not enjoying.
So it sounds like the most successful streaming services will be those that prioritize the human experience.
I think so.
The ones that understand that it's not just about algorithms and data.
All right.
It's about creating a sense of connection and community.
And the white paper actually points to Passion Flicks as a great example of this.
Oh, yeah, Passion Flicks.
You know, they built a thriving community around their romance-focused streaming service.
They've done a great job with that.
And they're constantly gathering feedback from their users to improve the experience.
They're always trying to get better.
Yeah. And they're also using a hybrid monetization model
Okay.
that gives subscribers flexibility and choice.
It's a reminder that there's no one-size-fits-all solution out there.
There isn't.
We need to be experimenting, testing different models, and finding what works best for our specific audience.
Absolutely.
And that experimentation should extend to the content itself.
Yes.
You know, we need to be bold, Tell stories that challenge conventions, explore new forms and genres.
I love it.
The report really encourages filmmakers to move beyond those traditional categories, to blur the lines between fiction and documentary, between animation and live action.
Break down those barriers.
Yeah, it's about breaking down those artificial barriers and creating something truly unique and engaging.
For sure. And this is where the power of individual voices comes in.
Yes.
You know, we need to support and nurture those filmmakers who have something fresh and original to say.
Yeah.
Those who are willing to take risks and push the boundaries of storytelling.
And create spaces where those voices can be heard.
Exactly.
Whether it's through film festivals, independent cinemas, online platforms, or even just within our own communities.
It's about fostering a culture of creativity,
Of curiosity.
of open-mindedness.
And recognizing that the future of film is something that we create together through our collective actions and choices.
I love that.
Me too. It's very empowering.
It is. It's an exciting time to be a part of this industry, even with all the challenges and uncertainties.
It is.
There's so much potential for innovation, for creative expression,
For connection.
for connecting with audiences in meaningful ways.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive.
It has.
It's given us a lot to think about.
a lot to unpack.
You know, both in terms of those big picture trends, but also those concrete steps that we can take.
As individuals.
Yes, to shape the future of film. So thank you so much for joining us on this journey.
It's been my pleasure.
And we hope you'll continue to explore these ideas and share your own perspectives.
We believe the future of film is bright, and we can't wait to see what stories unfold in the years to come.
Me too. Thanks again.